with Vladimir Putin on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Germany. So will the topic of Russia's meddling in the presidential election come up? It's a burning question in the media this morning, but Charles Krauthammer says Russian interference is not the main story.
This was totally unnecessary. He stepped all over the message of what was one of perhaps the best speech he's given. What are we hearing? What are the headlines? You know, Obama choked or this, or Obama had his reasons. The press, I think, is complicit in this. That is not the main story, for God's sake. The world is on fire. Something significant happened today, but they are obsessed, and the president plays into the obsession.
Rachel Campos-Duffy is a Fox News contributor. Leslie Marshall is a syndicated radio host and Fox News contributor as well. Happy Friday to you both, ladies.
Happy Friday.
Good morning. All right, Rachel, so does the president hurt his own messaging or focus on some of these bigger issues? As Dr. Krauthammer says, the world's on fire. There's other big stuff to talk about when he continues to engage in the discussion about this particular topic.
Well, Charles is right. I mean, this speech was consequential. It was important. Donald Trump connected with the Polish people. He connected with Catholics across the globe, talking about John Paul II and how the Poles defeated totalitarianism and the atheistic imposition of the communist regime. This was an important speech, but he's not stepping on the message because the liberal media isn't telling that part of the story, and Donald Trump knows it. So he says, look, I know you're going to talk about Russia, right? So why don't you talk about this part, the part that shows the hypocrisy on the part of Barack Obama, who didn't seem to care about the Russian meddling until it could help the narrative of undermining President Trump's election. And it forces the media to do something it hates, which is say anything negative about Barack Obama.
Well, and there is a lot made of the fact that this question came to him from a U.S. reporter who was on this trip, Leslie. So a lot of folks say he had to answer it. Here's what Dr. Krauthammer says about how he should have handled it.
There's no need to answer any of this. He should have said, we're abroad now, we have other issues, the world is on fire, that we can handle all of this at home. He didn't add anything. He repeated the stuff. We understand why he doesn't want to give in to the idea that there's anything illegitimate about the victory. But this is just terrible communication.
Leslie, does he just ignore the question or say it's been settled? What does he do with it?
I don't think that he can ignore it, but I agree with Charles in the sense that the president should be more presidential, quite frankly, Shannon, in answering it. I think sometimes the president is his own worst enemy when he talks or when he tweets, whether it's on Russia or anything else. I think, quite frankly, and I would have had more respect for him had he said there is an ongoing investigation. I am very concerned as president of the United States that there would be any meddling in our elections. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Next question, that kind of thing. Move on. This is not, why I'm here necessarily, but it can't be ignored because there is an investigation, and because he was just sitting just a few feet from the man who orchestrated this alleged meddling. And for future elections, even when Trump isn't president, he and everyone else should be concerned, as I think many of the American people are. They want the truth. And I think the president needs to be in step with that. And I just don't think it's presidential for him, dissing a former president or making light of this because it isn't a light thing. Otherwise, we wouldn't have an independent counselor investigating.
Yeah, I mean,
it right
Rachel,
now.
can he turn that to his advantage, as Leslie said, to say, listen, there is a bipartisan investigation, multiple ones on Capitol Hill. We have the special counsel as well. Let's let those proceed, because if he is as innocent as he says he is, then that's to his advantage, all of that, to get wrapped up.
Well, I think if he hadn't answered the question, the press would make the story about why he's evading the question. So no matter what he does, they're going to talk about Russia because the left is obsessed with Russia. And as far as being presidential, he was presidential. But look, during the speech in Poland, look at the media coverage of it. They hardly covered it in the way that would get covered had Barack Obama given a speech with such enthusiasm from the Polish people, screaming, USA, USA. The love that he got, that was not reported. Instead, they reported about Angela Merkel's reaction, the reaction of the elites in Europe, not the reaction of the Polish people. This is a lose-lose for Donald Trump. He's better to just answer the question, get the media talking about the hypocrisy of Barack Obama in this situation, and moving on for the rest of the summer.
This is one of these Fridays we're going to have to leave it agree to disagree, Rachel and Leslie, but we're glad to have you both on. Thanks for your time.